Hi again, and welcome to the M2M Project. I'm your host, Sebastian McLean, and I'm really excited to be introducing you to a good friend of mine, the award-winning actor Judah Katz, who also happens to be an incredible acting coach. I know that because I've worked with him before, and that's part of the reason why I'm so excited to have him here today. Judah, so good to have you here.
My pleasure to be here, Sebastian, and look forward to this.
Great, great. Well, listen, why don't we just get the conversation started a little bit, just by finding out a little bit about how you got into the acting business and how you got to the place of accolades that you're at today.
Well, how did I get into the acting business? Like a lot of actors, I kind of fell into it. Um, I did a little bit of acting when I was young. When I was 12, 13, I did a school play, and I really did become interested in acting. And my parents sent me to La Poudrière Theater in Montreal and St. Helens Island to take some acting classes. And I was terribly bored because it was really designed for adults, not for a 12, 13-year-old kid. And then I wasn't interested in acting anymore after that, to be honest with you. They really needed male actors in high school, and none of us wanted to. I was really interested in playing a lot of sports when I was in high school. When I went to college, I fell into it. I literally needed 2 more English credits when I was filling out my college. And as I was flipping through the book, I went, double English credit. What's a double English credit? Drama. Okay. And changed my whole life changed in that minute. I actually knew where I was when that happened, in Montreal. The teacher, Nat Bernstein, who sadly we just lost, Nat was in his early 80s. He became my mentor. He saw something special, and he reached out to me and not only encouraged me when I was taking drama, theater drama in college, but he decided to change the number of the drama classes so I can continue to study with him for all 4 semesters that I was at college. And
Wow.
I was very lucky. He became a real mentor to me. I got to do a couple of other plays that were done at the college that were outside of his class. So it was like going to theater school, really.
Wow.
And then at the end of it, he said, "Hey, I want to meet your parents." And I went, "Uh-oh, what did I do wrong?" And he came by my house in the suburbs of Montreal, and he suggested to my parents that I start thinking about becoming a professional actor. It never occurred to me.
Wow.
It
So
really did
what's
not.
amazing to me
I
about
was all prepared to go to college and study business,
right.
and I didn't know what to do. And I said to my dad, what do you think I should do? And he said, "Listen, I've seen you in your shows. You're young enough and talented enough. Give it a shot."
Wow. Yeah.
And I was very lucky. So I got the blessing of my dad. Sadly, I lost my dad the next year suddenly. So to have had his blessing and to sort of off I went into this netherworld of the arts and theater, and it was sort of, I never saw it coming. And I then went to the Banff School of Fine Arts for a summer.
Mhm.
And then I went to professional theater school, the Dome Theater School in Montreal. That was an intensive 3-year course. And I really got immersed deeply into acting and theater.
Wow.
When I moved to Toronto right after that in 1922, and I went, hang on a second here. Why am I doing plays for hardly any money, but you get to do a television show? They actually pay you well for your time. And I went, I want to make a living at this. I didn't want to be a starving artist. I wanted to make a living. I never aspired to be famous. That was never the idea.
Mhm.
But I decided then and there to become a camera actor, as I call it, working in television and film. And my career took off very quickly from that very first television show that I did. My peers recognized I was very lucky. I was at the right place at the right time. I won, the equivalent of a Canadian Screen Award. That back then they were called the ACTRA Awards, for the best new actor in television, and that propelled me to attention down in LA.
Wow.
And when they want you down there, they reach out and they grab you and they pull you down there. And I moved to LA at a very young age. I was 24. So that's how everything started. A lot of artists kind of fall into it, but you have to have the passion. You have to go, I love doing this. I need to do this. I didn't need to be a theater actor, but I needed to be an actor.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting to me is that your parents, right from the jump, seem to be opening that door for you, which is rare in a lot of cases, because there's like you had expressed, there's a lot of concern about how stable that could be, but it sounds like they were really open to seeing that skill of yours develop.
I was very lucky, and I knew I was lucky, and I met other people in theater school whose parents were not supporting them. I found out after my father passed away that he always wanted to be an actor. I didn't know that. Wow. He actually did amateur theater with Bill Shatner in Montreal.
Oh, I see.
And supposedly my grandmother, my mother's mother, did radio dramas way back in the day. So I guess it's in my blood.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. So, well, I mean, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on was because of this extensive background of yours, and not only that, because you actually work with actors to help coach them through the process of preparing for roles and everything as well. And this show a lot of times is dealing with plugging into a cross section, like writers and actors and producers, and kind of helping to connect the dots between around how those things connect. So one of the things that kind of came to my mind about wanting to ask you about here today was, when you're preparing to transfer a character from the page to the screen, and that preparation process is going on for an actor, do you see it more as like an inside working on the inner psychology of the character out to the physicality of the character, or are you more of an outside in kind of guy? What's your philosophy on preparing for roles or getting people prepared for them?
It's a fascinating question. I think actors work different ways. When I came from the theater world, when we studied Stanislavski, which is over 100 years old now, a lot of that work was a combination of inside and outside. I remember when I was doing theater, I had to find the physicality of the character. I had to find how they walked and how they moved, and that helped me get into the character. And then I started working from the inside as well. Camera work is different, and I had to learn that. When I moved to LA, I was not prepared. I did not have great camera craft. And I'm not talking about knowing how to hit your mark and where the key light is. I'm talking about acting camera craft. And I knew I was missing something. It wasn't until 10 years after I moved to LA and I discovered method acting that I started to really understand what my job was on camera and how to really work efficiently on camera and to a high level. And that's all working from the inside out. You start with who is this guy? I call it getting into his skin. Why does he act the way he does? If I'm playing a bad guy, what is he trying to prove to himself? Why is he nasty? And if it's not there, I create it. I go, he was either beaten by his mother or father when he was young, and he has this raging anger, or something happened to him along the way, and I find something to sit on. That's, so that I'm not just being mean for mean's sake. Maybe what my character really wants to do is punch his father in the face. Maybe his father hurt his mother and he wants to protect her. It's coming from somewhere. You want to get inside their skin and really understand them, and you may never judge them. And we want to go, okay, why does he act the way he does? Where does that come from? What can I sit on? What's the backstory, really? Then you start getting into the minutia of the scenes. What do they want in the scenes? What's getting in their way? And also, how do I make this character a genuine character, a real person? Not, writing has really changed over the years. In the old days, you had black hats and white hats, and now you have anti-heroes and you have bad guys who you kind of enjoy watching and you find them delicious to watch. And we're not necessarily, at the end, we don't want the bad guy to win, but we're kind of enjoying watching them, if you know what I'm saying. So
yeah.
There's a lot of grays now. And I think that whole idea of making people more human, making our characters more human, is really important to find a character that becomes interesting on camera.